My name is John Caverzan. I'm 79 years old, born September the 10th, 1938. I come from Montebelluna, Italy, in 1956. We were not rich, or we had enough food to eat, but nothing else. And it was so hard to find a job. So I decided to come to Canada to try a new adventure, new life, and I love this country very much. I arrived in Vancouver that I didn't have anybody with $25 in my pocket. One of my older brothers wanted to come here, and he's still here, and a few years later my sister with her family came out, so now we are 3 here and 3 in Italy, and we're still all alive. And we are all over close 80, and we still all alive. One day, we used to love dancing. We used to go dancing every weekend. And a Friday night, because unfortunately I was, that time you were not allowed to go into any beer bar or pub because you had to be 21. So a couple of my friends, they were over 21. So they always went in to have a beer before they came dancing. And I had to stand outside, and every time I stand outside, I had always the evening girl asking if I wanted to go up with them. And I was fed up because I never went. And so one night I told them, I wait for you in the dance hall. And I saw this beautiful girl with long blonde hair. She was dancing with a friend of mine, and I wanted to dance with her. So I wait till the dance was over, and I walk over and I ask her to dance, and we start dancing. And in between the middle of the dance, he said to me, I want you to dance with me all night. And I said, why? Because she said, you're a good dancer. And and I said, okay, I dance with you, but I have to take you home. And she said, okay. And after a while she said, but I have a friend of mine with me, and then I said, well, that's fine, I got lots of friends in here. And then she started laughing, and she introduced me. When we went up to the table, she introduced me with her mom. And then I got really shocked. And there I find out he was only 14 years old, and I then wanted to get involved because he was too young, and unfortunately we did. She did not leave me alone. She phoned me every day to come over and take her out and so on. And there I started my new life with her. We married at the 20th of May 1961. She was 16 years old. She was going to be 17 after. And in 1963 we had our first child. And we were very lucky that we had her grandma babysitting, so she worked every day too. And by 1968 we have enough money to, we said we take a trip in Europe, and so we did. We sold the beauty salon. We took a trip to Europe, and for 3 months. You know, I was in the communist country in 1968, and I felt sorry for the people because they were not free to talk or to say what they think. When we were staying with my wife, uncle, if we talk politics, we were not allowed to talk loud, only close all the window and everything. But to me, they treat me very nice. The police, the border, with the Canadian passport, they have no problem. They were super, super nice. But they were not nice to to their own people. And after 3 months we came back and we decided to go and buy a restaurant. And that's what we did. We made a but we opened up the Gula's house on Gramo Street. It was so hard the first year of the business. We just worked for our food. We didn't get any wages. And there we started all, and we decided we should have another child because we didn't want to far apart the children, and so we decided to have another child. And so everything was working fine till 6 months before the child was born. She started getting sick, and she spent a lot of time in the hospital, but nobody knew what it was. They thought the child was pressing in a muscle in the nerves of the back because she had very bad back pain. She could not stand. And the day, at 2 o'clock in the morning, she waked me up. She said, "This is the time I need to go," because she had broke her water. And we went, I took her to the hospital, and the family doctor came, and she said, "Few more minutes, an hour," and so. And then only once they had to call in a specialist, and they had to give her a cesarean. And there when we found out that she had cancer, and she had 6 months life. And that was the devastating life for me. That was the biggest shock I ever received, and I didn't know how to approach the life anymore, because she was my best friend. She was everything to me, my business partner. We grew up as children together. And there we were, and 6 months later she passed. And I had two small children. Every night I had to walk back and forth in the living room, and nobody knew what was wrong. And you always think he had a bad, because he had cancer, you were worried that he had cancer. And then he got over a year old, we tested him, and he had asthma and so on. Everything what I went through with him, I don't wish it to anybody. It was a devastation time. Her parents could not accept it. And the only way I survived, it was because of the grandma. Our dear Mamuzi, she was an angel on earth. She was behind me. She works. She gave me all the comfort. And so during the day I work. At night time I change diaper. And I cry all by myself, how much I cry. I thought my life was finished, but I'm so happy now that I have a beautiful family. I feel bad that I neglect sometimes my family because of the business, because I work 7 days a week, 16 hours a day. But if I have to start my life all over, I will not open business. I will work for somebody else, so I had more time for my family. I sent my kid to private school because I was more secure that they were there all day. I knew where they were. Some people told me I made a mistake, but in the end, it made me feel comfortable to have them in there. And it was hard. We had drugs those days too, but I teach my kid. I tell them every day not to go involved with drugs and this and that. They end up, and it's not easy. And I do the same thing today. I talk to my grandchildren about drugs and alcohol. I remember my dad used to work in the sulfur mine, and he left 6 in the morning, and he came back 9 in the evening, and 6 days a week. That was only the Sunday, it was a day off. And it was very hard with 6 children. My dad had a very, very rough life. And I always think about him even today. when he used to come home, how his nose was bleeding from the sulfur. But that's what the parents have to do for their children. That's their duty. All six of us, we love our dad because my dad was very, very open with us. He talked those days we were not allowed to talk sex, but my dad talked sex to us. Doesn't matter how old we were. He was very, very open, and that's why we love him so much. I work in the Gulas house, and I worked 6 months at the Gravel Square. And after we would work downtown, and this Presto Inn. Then we moved to the Greek Hall and Boundary for 2 years, and then we took over the North Vancouver, the International Plaza, Presto Catering, the North Shore Conference Center, we used to call it. And there where I worked till I retired. I laugh, and then I said, now I realize how old I am, My kids think I'm old, and I always thought I was thinking young, and now I said, now I know that I'm getting old. That's true. Yeah, that's true.